Welcome everyone. Let's begin our lesson for today by going over the learning goals and success criteria. First, what are we learning? We're learning how to understand solutions and solution sets through mathematical inference. How are we learning it? Through the solutions and solution sets notes and solutions and solution sets assignment. When can we use this information? To analyze how many solutions there are to any given problem in life, and to sort through positive, negative, and neutral outcomes when deciding on a proper course of action. How do we know we learned it? By getting a score of 4 on the solutions and solution sets assignment. Now let's take a look at our agenda for today. We will begin by going over the learning goals and success criteria. While we do that, you'll fill out your Get It Started. Once you've completed your Get It Started, we'll go over it together and answer any questions that you may have. After that, we'll go over the solution and solution sets notes, and then I'll give you time to complete the solutions and solution sets assignment on Desmos. Once you've completed the assignment, we'll go over it together and answer any questions that you may have. At the end of class, we'll go back over our learning goals and success criteria while you fill out your Before You Go. Your only homework for tonight is to continue working on the Reasoning About Statements study guide and any incomplete assignments that you may have. Let's take a look now at the solutions and solution sets notes. The notes begin with the learning goals and success criteria. Factoring review. Let's look at method 1 of factoring. So we have 3x minus 6, and we should notice that there's a common factor there, which is 3, so we can factor that out. So this becomes 3 times x minus 2. Same thing here. We have 2x minus 4 is equal to negative 18. I can factor this, so I can take a negative 2 out of each. So this is negative 2 times x plus 2 is equal to negative 2 times 9. So that's method 1. Method 2 is difference of squares. Remember, difference of squares says that if I have two perfect squares and their subtraction, I can take the square root of each of them and make it a plus b times a minus b. So in this case, I look at this 9x squared minus 16. Well, 9x squared is really 3x squared, and 16 is really 4 squared. So I can rewrite that as 3x plus 4 times 3x minus 4. So it follows this pattern here. Same thing here. Now I have x squared plus 2x plus 1. And in reality, this is really a perfect square. So this is really x plus 1 squared, because it follows this form. A squared plus 2ab plus b squared, and that goes to a plus b squared. So what I should notice is I have a squared here, I have b squared, these are both perfect squares, and in the middle is double the product of a and b. So this is 1 times 1 is 1 times 2 is 2, which is what we end up here. So this is method 2. Method 3 uses the x method. So we have x squared plus 4x minus 5. Well, we put minus 5 up top and 4 in the bottom. We need two numbers that multiply to get negative 5 and subtract to get 4. Well, I should recognize that that's 5 and negative 1. So this becomes x plus 5 times x minus 1. Same thing here. We have 3x squared minus 2x plus 5, we have 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. So we multiply 3 times negative 5, put that up top, so negative 15. We put this in the bottom, so that's negative 2. I need two numbers that multiply to get each of them. So I get negative 5 and 3. And I put that in, so I get 3x minus 5 and 3x plus 3. Factor out the 3 in here. And I get 3x minus 5 times x plus 1. So finding solutions from factoring. So really, this is the way we find roots. So we have x minus 2 and x plus 3 is equal to 0. We set each of these equal to 0. So x minus 2 is equal to 0, and x plus 3 is equal to 0. And then I just solve. So I add 2 to both sides, and I get x equals 2. I subtract 3 from both sides, and I get x equals negative 3. So those would be my solutions. Now there are different types of solutions. A positive solution is a solution that is greater than 0. So for instance, 2, 4, 9, those would be positive solutions. Negative solutions have a negative value. So -2, -4, -9, those would be negative solutions. And then zero solutions means that the only solution is exactly 0. Lastly, there are no solutions, which means there are no values that will make this statement true. Okay, so we want to know in these equations what kind of solution we're going to have. So I don't need to know what the solution is, just what kind of solution we're going to have. Well, for this one, I can see that I would divide by 7 on both sides. It doesn't matter what that actually comes out to be. All I need to know is that 5 divided by 7 is going to be positive, so this is a positive solution. Here we have 5 minus 3x is equal to 7. I know I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. It's going to stay positive because 7 is still bigger than 5, so this is going to stay positive. Then I'm going to divide by a negative, so I know that this is going to be a negative solution. So even without solving, which I did here, even without solving, I can just use logic to figure out that this is going to be negative. Here we have 8x plus 3 and 8x minus 11. Well, I should notice that in order to combine these, I'm going to have to subtract 8x from both sides at some point, and I'm going to get 0. So my x completely drops out. So therefore, this is no solutions. Now here we have 4x equals 0. Well, we know if we divide by 4, 0 divided by anything is going to be 0. So this is just 0 solution. Now types of solution sets. So 2 real solutions means that there are 2 answers that can work. 1 solution means there's only 1 answer. No solutions means there's none. So here, we need to decide how many solutions we're going to have. Well, this 3 doesn't provide me with a solution. We should notice that we can set this equal to 0 and get x minus 3 is equal to 0 and x plus 2 is equal to 0. Well, that tells us that this is going to be a solution and this is going to be a solution, so there are 2 real solutions. So even without solving it, I know that there's going to be 2 real solutions. Now let's look at this one here. X minus 2 and x minus 2 is equal to 0. Well, again, 1, 2 solutions, but notice they're exactly the same. So therefore, we can't count them twice, so there will be only 1 solution there. Here, we can move everything over, and we should notice that we end up with x plus 2 squared is equal to negative 2. And when we do that, we end up with no real solutions because we can't square anything and end up with a negative value. Let's talk now about how to sign in to Desmos to complete your work. So what we're going to do is you're going to click on the link to go to the assignment, and it should take you to a page that looks kind of like this. And right here where it says sign in with Google, we're going to click there. And it's going to pop up with our email accounts. You're going to click on your school email account, and it should already have you logged in because you should have already been logged in using Google Classroom. From there, I'm just going to click Start the Activity, and it will take me into the assignment and allow me to begin. So that's how you will log in to Desmos using Google. Let's take a look now at the Solutions and Solution Sets assignment. The assignment begins with the learning goals and success criteria. If we scroll down, there's a link here that takes us to the Desmos activity. Go ahead and click on that link, and it should take you to a page that looks like this. Let's go ahead and click Start the Activity. The activity begins with the learning goals and success criteria. We'll go ahead and click Next. It says, without solving them, say whether the following equations have a positive solution, negative solution, 0 solution, or no solution. So positive solution means that our result is some positive value. Negative means it's negative. 0 means the solution is 0, and no solution means there's no possible answers. So for this one, we have 7x equals 5. Well, we know in order to get our answer, we're going to divide both sides by 7, and we're left with x equals 5 over 7, which in this case is positive. So we'll go ahead and put positive. And we're just doing this mentally in our head. Now this one here, 3x plus 5 is equal to 7. Well, we know when we subtract 5, we get a positive number because 7 minus 5 is a positive value. Then we're going to divide by 3. Well, we know a positive divided by a positive is still positive, so this one is positive. And you'll do that for each of these. Decide whether it's positive, negative, 0, or no solution. And you'll continue that through this slide as well. Now we're going to determine the number of solutions. Now the easy thing is the number of solutions is equal to the x value. Right? If there's one x, a single x value, there's going to be one solution. If it's x squared, if we put everything together and it ends up being x squared, there's going to be two solutions. If we put it all together and there's three x's, there's going to be three solutions. So for this one, we can see that we have an x and an x, so there's going to be two solutions. So we'll go ahead and put two solutions. X squared minus x squared. X minus 2 times x minus 2. Now, the thing is, there are two x's, however, they're exactly the same. So there's going to be one real solution there. Okay, and you'll do that for each of these. Then drawing conclusions. It says, consider the equation the square root of 2x plus 1 is equal to the square root of ax plus b is equal to 0. So we're given that a and b here, and it says pick out an a and b that make each of these parts true. So what would make us have 0 real solutions? Well, we need the total underneath to be 0. So an example of that, using this formula here, it would be maybe 1x, so 1 times 1 plus negative 1, right? That would give me 0. So now I would have 0 solutions because I'd have square root of 0 is equal to 0. Okay, infinite number of solutions. So how can I have an infinite number of solutions? Well, anything here, so 2x plus 1 would give me an infinite number of solutions because it can keep going forever and ever and ever. Okay, so for instance, if this is 2 and this is 1, that gives me an infinite. Now if I only want one real solution, so now I need this to end up being a single value, so you'll go ahead and solve that. You'll continue this on and look at it with different equations and complete the assignment. Once you've completed your assignment, we'll go back to the Google form and click next. This will take you to your before you go. Go ahead and fill out your before you go and then submit your work on Google Classroom.